The Captives, a flash fiction by FreeplayFrenchie. When we moved to Aunt Lucia's house, my sister started catching fairies. They were odd, beautiful little things with black beady eyes, pointy noses, and iridescent wings. My sister would tell me to stay clear of them. She said they had claws and sharp teeth, that they'd sometimes try to scratch her when she passed them food through their air holes in the jar lids. I told her right from the start it was a bad idea to catch fairies, especially ones that didn't look like anything like they did in the books. These ones watched her with vengeful eyes and whispered to each other, tapping their nails on the glass. But my sister didn't care. She said she adored the way they glowed at night, lighting her room like a rainbow. I felt sorry for them. It wasn't fair for such strange creatures to be kept in pickle egg jars. Weeks passed and my sister's collection grew. The jars lined the mantelpiece in her bedroom. Some even became bookends. She hardly saw her friends anymore, only leaving the house to disappear down to the garden and set traps. She started to line the jars with moss and leaves, even small flowers, and the fairies thanked her for it. She even bought a music box and played it endlessly. I became jealous of the way they started to smile at her. "It's not right," I said one afternoon, watching her give out their daily rations. "They're fairies, Trish. They shouldn't be in jars, and you know it. They don't even look like real fairies. They've got black eyes." "And what would you know about fairies?" she replied, her back turned to me. She was feeding them raspberries from the garden, and they twirled and danced. "Enough to know they wouldn't be happy living where they are." Tricia scoffed at me. "I'm like their mother, Eliza. They appreciate me. Now go back to your books, you're annoying me." Weeks turned into months, months into years, and our aunt passed away. Though she had always respected our privacy, I had an inkling that she'd known about my sister's captives, and not days before she died, she whispered to me, "Don't let them out." I pressed her for more information, but she was weak and seemed not to remember it later. After some time I moved out and became estranged from my sister. I left the house to her, but still the fairies painted my mind. Too often I dreamt of their glittering wings and tiny faces unaffected by time. My sister was their captor, and yet I found myself as much under their spell as she. On my annual visit, the year I turned 23, I went to visit my sister in Aunt Lucia's cottage. I let myself in with the key under the plant pot and found my sister in her old bedroom, asleep in the chair by the window, wrinkled and withdrawn. In my studies since I'd left my aunt's house, I'd learnt many of the mysteries of magic, including that prolonged exposure to magical creatures in vast numbers often saps humans of their own natural beauty and appearance. My sister was only 30, and yet she appeared to me as an old woman. I walked over to the fireplace and swiped a jar from the mantelpiece. The glass shattered, and the fairy flew instantly out of the window. My sister awoke suddenly, scared and confused. I smashed another, and all at once the fairies began to swarm. A black cloud formed above our heads with faintly glowing spots of colour. They buzzed like wasps and hissed and dove for my sister, sitting bewildered and horrified in her chair. Like piranhas, they devoured her, till only the bones were left, and I taught my children never to catch fairies.